Hello, my name is Matthew, or Matt, and welcome to the Discorded Whovian podcast. You can't see me? Yes, because I'll tell you why. It's because we're heading this week into the world of audio. And yes, welcome to the world of audio for this podcast, and welcome to Big Finish, the first trap, or should I say, our episode Firsting the First Trap. Yes, we're looking forward to this one, starring Tom Price as PC Andy Davison, as well as Kai Owen. Yes, Kai Owen as the wonderful Reese Williams. You know Reese, bit Welsh, married to Gwen Cooper. Oh, sorry if I said it like that. I'm just very excited to be doing this because obviously audio means quite a lot to me. And it means a lot to our guests who will be coming out in just a second. So joining me this week on the Discorded Whovian podcast, it's none other than Ace first. Hello, Ace. Welcome back.
Hello. I am thirsty for this trap right now.
Oh, good lord! I bet loads of people were when they recorded it, hearing them.
You started this.
Well, there's only one way to finish it, is by introducing our next panelist. His name is the Metal Whovian. Welcome, James, to tonight's proceedings. You are welcome to the first trap.
Thank you for the invite, Matt. I'm quite excited to talk about it. I really enjoyed this one.
Excellent. Right, so just before we start tonight's proceedings, we're going to be having a quick read of the synopsis. You have 20 minutes to find your perfect mate, but you may never see them again. Now or Never has launched in Cardiff, and something's clearly very wrong with the app. Not only is everyone going on dates, but everyone's on the same date, the same meals, the same hobbies, the same small talk. Andy Davison would be investigating, but he's got a date. What? Yes, he does indeed. Yeah, so welcome to the first trap. So we're going around the houses. There's three of us. So to be introduced, hello, I'm Matt. I have just started being your regular. Sorry, that was my keyboard literally flying everywhere. That doesn't matter because you can't see because it's and not visuals, but I'm happy to share that experience with you this evening. So take two, as they say in Hollywood. So yes, I am your host here for the Discorded Whovian podcast. I've currently been your featured host on Power of the Doctor. This evening's Ogopolis for Classic Who, but when that's released, that will just depend whenever it comes out. It might be tomorrow, who knows? And that is Ace, our resident Classic Who from Classic Whovian from Scotland, who's also big into Big Finish.
Woohoo!
As well as James, who's also big into Big Finish, as well as books, Doctor Who, all sorts. Hello again, James.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I love just love Doctor Who in general. There's not much I don't like. Really grew attached to the audio format during the beginning of the pandemic, and it just didn't think I'd like audio more than the TV show, but come to that point.
I feel that on a personal level.
Okay, and we've welcomed to our controversial debate. We have been shut down. I'm just kidding. So tonight, because it's going to be quite under a different circumstances of the formatting, so we are going to be starting with positive thoughts. But as usual, So I'm a bit stuttery this evening. It's called that fatigue moment, when you're getting a bit exhausted. It's been a long day. So tonight we're going to be doing something a little different. We're going to start our positive thoughts segment with Ace, who will be opening up the first trap.
Oh, I am first to go. How beautiful of a start. I'm just going to unload a lot. So be ready for that. So first of all, I'm just incredibly happy Tom Price has actually gone and wrote something for his own character in Torchwood for himself. Just already amazing. That's something Torchwood does the best, in my opinion. They let their actors write what they want for their own characters. Lloyd's done it, and Yvonne's actors done it, and they've all been brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And Tom Price is no exception either. He has wrote probably one of his strongest stories for Andy, hands down. I think what makes this story stand out the best is the fact that it does do the whole phone addiction bad thing, but it over exaggerates it to the point where it's extremely funny and silly, and you can't take it serious. But at the same time, you still can, because it can happen in real life easily.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was incredibly funny, which he did for the writing, which made it even easier to listen to instead of hearing the typical boomer thing of just, oh, phone bad, addiction bad, which you hear a lot nowadays from the old people, you could say, who doom phones the downfall of humanity. I tell you. So I think what it was that made this story very fun to listen to was just Tom's writing and making it very silly and practical. Because Andy's all over the place in the story. He's going on dates constantly. He's also trying to run missions as well. And he's trying to balance both of them at the same time. He ends up snogging Reese and getting very erotic with him, talking about aerials, very up close and personal. Did you know that there's 16 radios on one phone? So erotic. Like that. It is absolutely brilliant. I am incredibly amazed they even recorded this one, dying of laughter.
That cracked me
right
up.
away. And of course, Tom is Tom. He just killed it again, as always, as Andy. He just is perfect and pretty much playing Andy as he always does. He's always enthusiastic. He puts a to effort into it. Reese. Sorry, I was getting confused. Reese was amazing in the story. Really funny too. Mainly the scene where he tries to put on extremely skinny jeans, I think it was, and he ends up almost choking himself to death when he was going shopping.
I don't think they're tight enough.
I don't think they're tight enough. He's just choking himself out. And then, of course, the scene where he pretty much has a full-on snog of Andy. He's like, "Don't tell Gwen," which was absolutely hilarious. But of course, there's also a serious scene where he admits they're having a bit of struggle at home and all that. And I thought that was a brilliant scene as well, showing that Andy cares for the both of them, even though him and Reese don't get on at all. But they somehow do still. So there's that, which was amazing. And just also the dating concept as well is really funny. Because it ends up being like a zombie apocalypse type situation where they all turn into mindless zombies looking for their perfect date. And last but not least, but my favorite scene was where the climax happened. Spoilers. Okay, you've had enough. But my favorite scene was where basically Andy has the upper hand on Sonny, who was behind it all, and Sonny basically shuts him down, trying to make him talk longer. And he's like, "Oh, okay," and he just stand there in silence for 20 seconds because what was going to happen happened not fast enough. And when it does happen, it's really funny because it just catches you off guard because Sonny was just questioning what's happening. Am I trying to get guilt tripped or something with people looking at me? He's like, "Oh no, I'm just waiting for something to happen. You were just too fast." I just thought that was absolutely brilliant, and Tom Price has given his writing up 100%, and then I need him back. Simple as that. I need him to do another one.
That was a funny little ending there. Yeah, they resolved it. Because most stories, it's like everything's timed perfectly, The
it was
guy
so
always
funny,
has it timed
honestly.
perfectly, but nope.
Because that's something Torchwood does do a lot, as well as that they have a timed perfectly ending where the conclusion happens at the exact same time the character's talking. But in this case, just no, something happened too fast. Oh, well, we just need to wait here then. Meanwhile, Andy's just sipping on a cup of coffee, just staring at Sunny. Not a care in the world. Just brilliant, honestly. I need Andy back. I need Tom Price back to write again, because he's proven he can fucking write. Simple as that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's me. Whoever's next goes next.
Yes, and thank you very much, Ace, for your positive thoughts. Now, on to you, James. What was your thoughts of firsting the first trap?
Yeah, nicely put there, Ace. Yeah, I thought it was a great satire on how on just how we as society use our phones now, how dating can be at times, and like I've been trying to date the past couple years, and the way it's dating goes on here is a bit exaggerated of reality, but it is. I could see that actually happening. I could see there actually being an app like that where people get timed to do their date, and it would just be like, oh, what's that kind of dating where you sit down at a table, talk for
Speed
20
dating.
minutes? Yeah, speed dating. Yeah, but it'd be speed
Yeah.
dating on an app, but you got to meet people anywhere, not just at one place. It'd just be speed dating, but on the go, which I could see that being an actual app. And the whole thing about the antennas, that's an actual experiment, by the way, done by both the U.S. and several governments around the world. But they've all done experiments regarding radio waves. So it's an actual thing, and there are actual experimental weapons. But I mean, come on, look, they tried. The U.S. tried to make the gay bomb. I mean, it's not that would actually work. I mean, if they actually want to do something like that, they could just make a libido bomb that would just make everyone so horny. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
There's 13
That's
throbbing antennas. That's what they said. 13 throbbing antennas.
that killed me.
Brilliant.
But yeah, great comedy. I just love how it's taking. Andy is not acting himself because he's so distracted by trying to keep up with the dating app that he skips out on a mission. He's supposed to be doing a scout out. Nope, date. He needs to go and check on a baby whose mom ended up was on a date. Left her baby at home. He goes to check on the baby, but also picks up his date simultaneously. So it's like he takes his date on a job. It's like,
I think one thing about that scene as well that I forgot to mention was that it said, oh yeah, the app recommends trying out new experiences.
oh yeah.
And she's just screaming her head off because he almost crashes in something or goes through a red light.
Oh, and I love too how, because Sunny always keeps bringing up how they always show up, and then a second later they're no longer needed all the time. And then what happens here? A second later, the mom bursts in. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, it was really funny.
But yeah, great. I think it was great all around. Yeah, we need Tom Price back again. Write some more Andy. That's definitely one of the best Andy stories, and yes, and I'm guessing you probably have a better sense in the timeline. When do you think this definitely takes place? Whenever Reese and Gwen were having their marriage issues.
Yeah, it takes place after a Miracle Day, I would guess, since they've had their kids and stuff.
Okay.
I think it's around the story continues era, because there's so many post-Miracle Day ones.
That does sound about right. So I wonder if it takes place. It's got to take place before series 5 and 6. Then that's what I'm thinking.
Possibly, I'm thinking it would. But then again, though, they did say that the call Torchwood, there's this mad woman that comes in, and it's Gwen that they're obviously talking about. So I'm guessing it's between season 5 and 6. I think it's actually between it.
Yes, so it's probably another bonus story that's during the stories continues era.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, another thing we forgot to mention. This is definitely for anyone who does care what kind of audio device you listen on. This is one I'd recommend a good headphone or good earbuds for, just because there's a lot of dialogue, a lot of background dialogue. Yes, definitely recommend earbuds or headphones over speakers, because at least from what I've tested, I'll listen to it 2 times between the speakers and the earbuds. Definitely prefer the earbuds. Just hear the intricacies more.
Yeah.
Yes, and it feels like you're getting the whole cinematic experience because
Mm.
audio now in Big Finish have gone
Oh.
from literally sounding like audio dramas that sound like from the telly, and they sound like immersive audio events. Torchwood, Doctor Who, it's like all the sound editors across the ranges are making it sound cinematic on audio.
And they're Big Finish originals too. Those are really great audio wise. Like Transference could be a TV show.
I think that's the point of the originals range is they could essentially one day be turned into live action. And I think Jeremiah Born in Time is one of the few exceptions from the originals where they've got a book of it even after Big Finish produced the audio first, so which is quite nice. So if Nigel Planer wanted to go and adapt it for TV, or from what I've been told, I don't want to be misremembered, but from what I last heard about that, is if he wanted to turn it into an actual series or movie, all he's got to do is just credit Big Finish. Which would be quite nice because then that gives them more mainstream publicity. Oh, sorry, before I get tracked. Yeah, so my positive thoughts on the first track is most of it has been covered here. I will highlight though, for like a cast of what, 1, 2, 3, 4. A cast of 5, it really felt like a stage play. It felt like, you could essentially be immersed, taken back. It's so random, the story, but it's so believable. We're in the age of things like, which has been covered, like things like Tinder or Grinder, depending like your gender, like if you've got preferences or your sexuality or stuff. It's fascinating to me. Like Now or Never is something that could essentially be real. Like say for example, if you go into like OnlyFans and that became like a portable edition, or like speed dating on the go with the phone version of the app, it's essentially that really. Now or Never though, being hypnotic, because you've got people that it's very sad though that some people still feel quite lonely, and that feels like it would be a quick way to meet somebody, but then you do it all over again. It's quite a dangerous story if it was a real thing. Yeah, what I will say I did love about the story though is it's just how Andy took charge. Really, this we know it's an Andy story, but it's just like the way that he's willing to pull rank on his colleague, Sunil. It's quite interesting to get to actually hear him properly do his job, because it's always talked about a lot on the TV side of him being a police officer, but we don't really get much of that. A bit like Yaz. So to hear this audio and you get to hear him doing this, or the world's going to potty, it's really it's really a fun experience. You could definitely tell Tom Price had such fun doing it, because I was reading an interview. He died of happiness that this script got out there, and it's one of his proudest things. And it shows they casted really good people alongside him and Reese. It's so mad. I think he was like. I think one of my best lines is you wouldn't have this shop, James, but in England we have a shop called M&S. So when he was literally mentioned, it looked like a jumble sale from M&S. I couldn't breathe because I've seen people in those type of clothes and it just kills me. All in all, I'd say like most of the points that I was going to bring up about First Trap, you two have covered. But for me, I'd say this is a delight. And it's so funny that the twist is staring you right in the face. The villain's just that laid back police officer when everyone thought it was going to be the girlfriend of Andy, which I quite liked.
And I totally get his motives too, because man, sometimes because when you have to work with a lot of clients and you have to respond to them in a certain way, or you have to deal with their mess ups repeatedly, it gets frustrating. So I kind of get why he's frustrated, but man, he sure went the wrong way about it. It's like he's sick and tired of helping people, because or he's just he shows up, not needed. Showed up, nope, not needed. Just taken advantage of.
Him and his 13 of robbing Itanas.
Yep.
I gotta say though, how Kai Owen kept a straight face when Tom Price must have pitched the story. Saying, by the way, we're gonna have a kissing scene. I just really want to hear that reaction of the day when Tom Price told him that you're gonna snog me.
And also Reese having to whisper in his ear, there is 13 throbbing Itanas and a phone.
I also, I just say, because obviously we still got quite a lot of time to cover. The cover art is a very good one. It's just the flowers that they're both holding, and Reese is on the phone looking so confused. It's just brilliant to look at. It's just like, it's definitely something that could have been filmed for TV's version of Torchwood. It's how mad it is.
I think what I like about the cover though is that it doesn't really tell you everything, but it tells you enough about how this tone of the story is going to be set, which is really good.
Oh yeah, I'm going to just switch gears for a moment. So the day this was announced on the Big Finish site, I remember so many people thinking this was a fake title. Like, no, they're not really going to release some little first trap, and then the cover dropped.
I already losing my show over because I found it absolutely hilarious.
Yes. So, what did you think? Finding out about the title, like yourselves, like you did. What did you think when Big Finish went through with this?
That is the most Tom Price thing I've ever heard in my life.
I didn't think James was Scottish.
I'm Scottish. No, I'm Scottish, Jimmy.
Well, Ace answered the questions on your behalf, but what do you think, James, finding out about First Trap when the name was revealed?
I had a good laugh, and yeah, I thought it was brilliant, especially when they revealed the cover. Like,
I mean, I was howling because I was like, "What? How on earth are they going to get away with this?" I mean, if they've downplayed Charlie Pollard in Bondage over the years, like doing S&M stuff, how can they get away with this title? And I was proven wrong.
Charlie Pollard.
But no, so I think we're going to cover a bit because it's still quite early. We're going to do a 2-in-1 on this. Do we have any negative thoughts, and what would you change about the episode? But I've already gathered from the floor that it's going to be a challenging one because there's been quite a lot of positive reviews. So if anyone wants to cover it, that's fine. If not, then what we could do is just switch gears. So the floor's open. Does anyone want to cover this subject?
No, nothing additional for me.
Okay, so those two have been ruled out this evening. This is staying in the recording for this reason, because the reason why we're changing subjects, because I didn't realize we were actually live doing this recording, but don't worry, we're in StreamYard doing this live. So none of you out there, none of you wonderful people out in the universe can hear this or see it, like the change in it, because there might be some edits in the room afterwards because of this. But no, so we'll go on to the next subject then about the first trap. Is yes, there might be some editing. So if you see missing dialogue, it's because we're switching gears. So so what was next? So we've covered that. Oh gosh, we're actually way ahead of a time here. So what I would suggest on this point, which is going to be different, is where would you recommend people to start in the Torchwood range if they've never heard Torchwood before? And I'll start with Ace on this one.
Yeah, Ace is
me. Okay. Hard to say, actually. I would just say number 1 and work your way slowly up. It really depends on the person and what they're wanting. Their first one.
Yeah.
Are they wanting a specific character favorite? Writing?
Do they want to go in chronological order?
Yeah, pretty much.
Then they may want to include the TV show, because then you can. Then there's timeline pages.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to recommend one though, I would say it's more than this. That's the one I would say is a good jumping on point. More than this is probably the best choice.
What would you say, James? Because obviously you listen to loads of like Torchwood up. What would you say is also?
I'd say I can't remember specifically the order of them, but I'd say the Andy and Norton monthly ones that roll into Torchwood Soho.
Ghost Mission, Goodbye Piccadilly, and then it's I can't remember the next one. But yeah, I know which ones you're on about.
But yeah, those 3 audios, and then Torchwood Soho, which is just a phenomenal range. So good.
Yes.
And also another series, all about those monthlies and Soho. I'd recommend headphones or earbuds as well, because a lot of subtlety, a lot of whispering too.
Yes, I'm going to recommend First Trap. Would also be a very good one to jump in on, because there's no really baggage about like it's not really connected with other stuff. But the one reference I will recommend for people is And When. So unless you've watched Children of Earth, or Miracle Day, it's not really worth jumping in on for sense. But for an audio, it's very standalone, and it feels like anyone could just come to it. But I'd also say personally, a jumping on audio that I did, I don't know if anyone else would, but I'd say Coffee's a very strong one to jump in on, as well as the great Sontaran Walls are very good jumping on.
That's one of my favorites.
Yes. Or if we're sticking to Lloyd audios, I would also say Falling to Earth.
Oh yes. I'd also say very good ones as well. It's like the Doctor Who Monsters one about like
Sync.
Yes. Sync and the Green Life, but I still haven't done the infamous Snuff one.
If you're not easily offended, the Sins of Captain John box set I highly recommend.
That's another good jumping on one, as well as the Death of Captain.
Yeah, that's another one that if you're not easily offended, go right ahead. If a lot of sexual stuff, there's a lot of sexual stuff in both those sets, so just forewarning.
Yeah, I mean, there's a load of great jumping. I think as it's got on, apart from Story Continues, Torchwood is really designed to be like a jumping on point. Things like the archive, though, you do need to listen to the stuff basically with the committee. And if you don't know who the committee are, well, where have you been? Are you sitting under a rock? Are you literally hiding in Stephen Moffat's bedroom? Where are you?
Actually, that's probably the best starting on point for people, I would say, for Torchwood, is that start with looking into audios that have got the committee involved and work your way through that arc up to the archives. That'll give you a good taster of what you're going into when it comes to the monthly ranges of Torchwood. Definitely.
Oh, absolutely. Because to be frank, like with Torchwood, it's amazing, like the amount of stuff they're doing. I mean, we can talk essentially about, this is a first chat review. We've covered most of the first chat, but we are here also to recommend on this podcast to people where to start with Torchwood. And please do keep an eye. Another good one is it's been designed for you to jump in on is Mr. Colchester and Dorothy Ace McShane.
Yes.
I don't know because those are after series 6. So it's and
then
you
again,
you get a lot of Mr. Colchester. Like you learn about him through 5 and 6.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But then again, that's about the only issue with it, I would say, is that you just need to get to know him a little bit more before jumping in.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people, if they don't know him and they jump into those two, they may not like him. They won't get to know him because he's not like he's a character you may not like on the first impression, but when you get to learn him more, you get to learn how he actually works, his intentions. Yeah, and then you understand. Okay, he's one of the best characters in Torchwood and Doctor Who. Period.
Well, the only reason I recommended those is because James Goss personally said you don't need to hear the backlog, but you can if you want to understand those ones.
It just kind of helps his character more, I would say, though, if you are going to jump into Mr. Colchester one.
It's a bit like what they're doing with Liv and Helen. They've
Yeah.
like with the relaunch.
Yeah, okay.
It's like you don't need to necessarily listen to their backlog, but you can just jump in. But
True.
it's for new people. We're recommending if they've never done it and they're a bit taken aback by the huge backlog about where to start, kind of deal.
Yeah.
But it's also like as well, you've got jumping on points of like not villains, but like sort of like outside characters in the Torch universe that are like they're not the bad guy, but they're not the good guy either. They're just sort of mess things up, like Billis Manger. His range is
yes.
incredible.
Yeah,
Like,
his are great
absolute
ones to listen to.
top-notch.
Oof.
I tell you,
Like-
the one I could say for recommendation is if you see, because it sets up the events of the episode, is the Adam prequel.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that reminds me. Oh, it reminds me of the 4 Norton. There's 4 Norton monthlies before you jump into Soho series. So yeah, we said there's Goodbye Piccadilly.
Ghost Mission,
that- it's a Ghost Mission, Goodbye Piccadilly. Then we have
Black Knights, and then
no, there's Madame Mime, then Black Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Black Knight was oof.
that was amazing.
Oh, a brutal ending.
Very, very brutal.
I was like,
But
I think that's
that's-
probably Elizabeth Miles' darkest story I could think of. She doesn't usually
Yeah.
go that dark.
Well, we know one other dark story, don't we, Matt?
Let's not go there. Let's not put people off their first time joining Big Finish.
Yeah.
That reminds me, Matt. The best jumping on point, it would probably be Corpse Day, wouldn't it?
Oh man.
Who's paying you this? Is James Cross paying your ransom?
Come on, Matt. You know that you got into it for Corpse Day. Come on, let's tell the audience.
The Corpse Day review. I think I'm going to get a sick bucket that day.
Corpse Day is this really wholesome story with Owen. No, not Owen. Yeah, Owen and Tom, Andy. And I highly recommend it if you haven't gotten into it. It's beautiful. It's one of James Goss's personal favorites.
Oh, dear Lord.
You might, depending on how sensitive you are, you might need a bucket.
Nah, it's fully wholesome. Don't worry.
So, please know if anybody sends in a complaint, direct them directly to Ace for this one.
And I will love it.
Oh dear. We have strayed from the narrow path. We have strayed from the first trap, to literally a story so vile that it gives Human Centipede a run for its money. It makes it look like a parental guidance film.
Corpse Day, yeah.
Corpse Day is
Oh.
what Human Centipede aspires to be.
Maybe we should do like a group listening sometime of that.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, Matt. Let's
and
do that. That's a good idea.
Are you trying to finish me off as
And
the host here?
what-
Do you
what
want
we
my
could-
successor?
I got an idea. We could all listen to it, but the thing is, we wouldn't have it in the podcast, but we'd have our reactions to it as we're all listening to it.
Oh, you
Yeah.
do know, by the way, on this beta test, James, which I forgot to explain. So now, if there's any glitches or anything, it'll go into the studio afterwards. So if you want the reactions, we can do them live on this recording and they'll be kept as well as separate files.
And if you guys want our reactions, like and subscribe and retweet.
Oh, God. What did I sign up for?
Hell.
Hashtag the discorded Whovians.
I know. So to you souls out there in the netherworld thing, we are coming up down to the rating portion of our story. So let us go down the barrel this time. Well, I say down the barrel. Let's go, as they always say, you start from the bottom. So let's go to James for this rating. So what would you rate the first trap?
I'm not normally a ratings person, but yeah, I'll just, 10 out of 10. That's the. Yeah, loved it. Yeah, I'm not really much of a ratings person.
I'm gonna get that on the t-shirt for you. I'm not much of a ratings person, but I will.
I mean, yeah, if you want a rating, I'll give you one. 10-10.
Oh yeah, yes. Oh, fantastic. So you're 10 out of 10. So Ace, what is your rating of the first trap?
I'm going to be nice to you, Matt. Actually, Matt, you go first and I'll go last.
Oh,
Ooh.
You go ahead.
right. From the fact is, it's been my first proper Big Finish for a while because I keep getting exhausted. I found it highly entertaining. It felt like a reality show gone wrong. It's literally something that is dangerous, like how it could potentially be real. I thought all the cast had a whale of a time. The shopping scene is definitely a personal highlight of mine with Reese and Andy. I just couldn't breathe from listening to it. All in all, though, for my first time coming back into Tortured for a while, it's a solid 10 out of 10. It's for a very first story. I would say Tom Price has done it absolutely justice, and I know he was a bit nervous from what I could tell online, but when he got it done, like from the assistance from James Gossett, everything fantastic. It's like this story doesn't feel like it's done by somebody who's a new writer. It feels like it's been done by a professional who's done it for years. So hats off to you, Tom Price. And would I like you to write some more? Of course I would. Get on it. Start getting another commission in. And on to you, Ace.
Yeah, pretty much the same here. Really, honestly, when it comes to the writing of it, just Tom Price just blown me away completely. Honestly, it was hilarious. It was serious as well. It didn't feel too off the mark for Torchwood. It felt perfectly on the nail. It wasn't trying to be something it wasn't. It was just being what it was. And Tom Price nailed it completely. And he better write some more, or I swear to God, I will cry. So yeah, it's just getting a 10 from me. I can't really complain about anything if I even tried, apart from he needs to write more. I need more erotic whispering about antennas.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ace. Well, we are just about to wrap up for this evening, but I just wanted to say thank you for joining us on the Discorded Whovians podcast. I'm your host, Matt, and we'll be back next week with the Marianne conspiracy, the start of a brand new era for Colin Baker and Maggie Stables as the Sixth Doctor and Evelyn Smythe.
AKA the best duo.
Don't forget, we will be back as well next Friday doing the Twin Dilemma on Classic Who. We'll also be doing New Who as well on Saturdays and Fridays, so tune in. Once again, I am Matt. This is Ace, so say goodbye, Ace.
Goodbye, and we'll listen to Corpse Day.
Oh dear. And we'll say our final farewell this evening. James, would you like to say farewell to the audience out there?
Farewell, everyone, and thank you for listening.
Yes, and don't forget, we're listening. We're here. Follow our social medias, and please, we do this because we love everything. And if you think we're mad, you've not seen anything yet. See, you can tell I'm so tired. I'm starting to mumble up my words. I'm starting to not speak English, even though I'm English.
And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to watch Matt and react to Corpse Day again.
I'm not being paid for this, you know.
Oh, I know. I'm doing it on purpose.
Anyway, take care. Goodbye. Bye.